What's up, everybody? Welcome to PixelPlay Sidequests, your bonus content here on the YouTube channel that you should obviously be already subscribed to. So if you haven't, do that. 11 more subscribers at the time of this recording, and we have a serial episode to do. So get moving. Let's go. But alas, speaking of not getting moving is Bungie. Well, I guess they did get moving, but they moved out as about 220 employees are gone. Because apparently when a game does really, really well, that's when you have to let people go. Look, I'm not a business executive. I don't understand how this shit works. We just see it from the outside looking in, and we all go, well, this is kind of dumb. So we all do what we normally do, which is be rational human beings. Oh, sorry, I meant post incessantly about how much Bungie can suck a dick.
On the internet?
I understood. Don't worry. I got this shit. We're all calm and collected here. And then the second we go into Reddit, Twitter, Facebook, whatever else, it's just... But alas, Bungie. You know, that company that still exists, even though 17% of their workforce is gone. I can't imagine how they're still afloat when their executive decided that apparently they did so well after being sold to Sony that he needed to spend $2.3 million in car auctions.
Yeah, I saw that.
Sounds like you're doing good there, Pete, but, you know, whatever. So, guys, ultimate question here. Can Bungie... Well, A, can they recover from this? And B, what the hell is that going to look like? Because I've talked to several friends who have been big, lifelong Destiny fans. One of them in particular I saw over the weekend, and he told me flat out, not only is it uninstalled on Steam, it is hidden off of his library, so he doesn't even get to look at it anymore. And this is a guy who has put... Like, I've put in somewhere around a total of 3,000 hours combined between the two games. I know he's done at least double that. So... that takes a lot to piss off your fan base. So with that kind of vitriol right now, is it even recoverable? And if so, what is that going to look like?
It's a good question.
Right? I thought so.
Yeah.
For me, said I never asked that question before. It's a good question.
It's a good question. I would just like to point out how positive and great this question is. I would probably have to go with... I think they need to do something else that's not just Destiny for now. And I know they have something else in the works,
Marathon,
don't they?
Which is
Marathon.
Potentially next year.
Yeah. And I don't know. I feel like... I don't know if Destiny burnout is happening. I feel like kind of it is.
It definitely is. The final shape, the last expansion they put out, the only reason that Bungie is doing so well again is because apparently, and I've been told this from people who have played it, that it's one of the best things they've ever put out in that series, which makes sense considering it was ideally going to be the last one before anything new with like a Destiny 3, or if they were just pooling everything to Marathon was coming out. The burnout's been a real thing for a good couple of years now.
Yeah, because I'm feeling like Destiny is kind of like the MCU. Like, it's kind of like Marvel movies where, like, it's still around and it's still doing its thing. And, you know, Destiny 1 was a thing. Destiny 2 is a thing. If you want to get into it, I tried. I have no idea what the story is, and I'm trying to get in there, and it's not easy, right? Like, I feel like they need either a new IP that's actually like kind of story based too. Like, I don't know if Marathon really is. I feel like it's more just like
that and said Bungie, who used to be known for making really good single player games, needs to make a really good single player campaign game. I know you don't care about Halo, Kaylan, but shut up.
Kaylan's face instantly like,
back in the day, that was peak quality.
I know it. It was. I know.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it.
Either that, like one or the other. They either make a single player campaign game, or they just need to make a straight up PvP only like game that is not nearly as taxing on the resources, and just try to get some of that back. Like, get the old, what people remember Halo to be. Like, remember when people were going nuts about Splitgate because they thought it was going to be Halo with portals?
Yes.
And how quickly that went away. They need to just go, hey guys, you know how all of you really like Destiny's Crucible gameplay, you know, when we actually weren't tinkering with it left and right? Here's that. And just that. We're not going to waste time with anything else. Here's just that. Or, hey guys, remember we used to be really good with Halo before 343 decided to completely shatter all of your memories? Here's a new sci-fi first-person shooter story-based, you know, game. Let's go with that. The fact that their next project is another goddamn live service game is not helping them right now.
No, I think
it's something that they can't fix tomorrow, but like this is something that, say, towards the end of the decade, whenever they, you know, the resources are available again, that they can kind of do something else to kind of like take the bit of the edge off.
Yeah. Like, for me, they got to give Destiny a break. they've ended on a good note, at least. That's good. Take a break, do a couple other games that are nowhere near as like taxing and requires you to play 10 years worth of content to understand what the fuck you're doing. And yeah, just make either a fun single player game and some PvP game, maybe both. Do both. Like just take some time, make some good quality like Sony exclusive content, because that would also be good for Sony's side and PlayStation players like us who are like looking for some exclusive stuff. Yeah, give it a rest. And then until like one day when they're ready, sure, do a Destiny 3. But don't make it the only thing they have and put everything into it, and don't rush into it now. Give it some time to frickin' breathe. Like
as far
it should
as I'm
be
concerned,
5
we
years
should not
or
see a
more.
Destiny 3 until minimum 2029.
Yeah, 5 years. That's what I'm thinking. Exactly. Yeah.
Kaylan,
what about
if
you?
they really want to throw a fast one out there, remember Oni for the PS2? If they could do like another one of those kind of games, like that would be out of nowhere that people would be like, oh, okay, I'm interested. Like just something else. Honestly, I think the best way forward would almost be to make a new game that is not a sci-fi shooter and just go with that.
Yep. Or make a Halo competitor named Balo, and it's on Sony only. Oh, I miss old Bungie.
If I was Sony or if I was Bungie, here are the things that I would do. You like kind of keep supporting Destiny for a little while. You shut it down, like you slowly kind of like, you don't shut it down right away because like you got some bad animosity. Like you kind of do like, hey, we're gonna
want to play everything anyway for a while now. Like
so
the faithful that will
like,
always be on there.
You do like another 12 months of like maintaining it, getting some free stuff out there, like, but you're kind of starting to sunset Destiny. Marathon or doesn't matter. That's not going to be significant. What you do is, I think right now you go dark. Like you just kind of go hide away, go disappear for a couple years, kind of just lay low. Like people are kind of pissed right now with what's going on. You lay low, let that blow over. After a couple years, people are like, hey, what's Bungie up to? We haven't heard from Bungie in a while. And then you come out with a game. And here's what you do. They made Halo. You come to Sony and you get payback on their Halo killer. You get Bungie making a new Killzone game, which has also been dormant for a little while. You get the Killzone fan base who are like, hell yeah, Killzone's back and it's good and like it's exciting. Guerrilla's not making another Killzone. They're busy making the dinosaur robot game. It hasn't been done since the beginning of PS4. And you get it with the Bungie team that are doing a good story-based sci-fi shooter. You know, you make it a cool story. You make it kind of like, maybe you do it as like as a restart to the franchise. Like you kind of remake or like kind of like what they're doing with Gears of War E-Day, where it's like, hey, you know, we're doing like a soft reboot and kind of a good place for people to jump on. Like the Killzone characters are iconic, and I think you could make it. And like this seems something like Bungie could do. You get the option to do like that multiplayer shooter that you did with Halo. You can do a co-op thing if you wanted to as well. Like literally you could just transplant, like this is what Bungie is good at, and you take it and you put it on Halo or you put it on Killzone. I think you get that nostalgia factor for Killzone people. People are now hungry for a Bungie game, back to their roots. So that's what I would do if I was them.
Imagine they do almost exactly that, but instead of Killzone, they do, what's that other PS3 shooter, Resistance?
Yep.
Or something like that.
Oh, that would be another one.
Yeah.
I mean, it both works. Like, I just think like you give Bungie a dormant PlayStation first-person shooter,
so
which PlayStation doesn't have.
Knack 4 PS. Let's go.
No, but if you think about it, like PlayStation doesn't have a first-person shooter. Give them SOCOM or something like that. Like there are a ton of different ones that you can give them, but like bring back a classic.
Man,
Sony, and I know SOCOM's not first person shooter, but like,
they could have done something real cool with the Concord license if they had not decided just to do another goddamn, license game or live service game.
Oh yeah, 100%. But Kaylan, I think your idea is the best idea. Like with like kind of like what we were saying, but like going that extra step and taking a dormant PlayStation first person shooter that they're not using. You can make a multiplayer mode just like Halo and stuff would have, but have a killer story campaign, because you're right, Sony does not have exclusive first person shooters really, like, and they've got Bungie, they own Bungie now, which is, it's crazy. And like Xbox has got some, but
if you're Sony, like I don't think you make like a first person shooter with the idea of it being a massive, successful multiplayer shooter. Like have it there to kind of like bring back the nostalgia. Or you make it more like an arena shooter back like the first original Halo, where it's like, hey, get in with your friends. There's no leveling, there's no like passes and getting skins and upgrades. It's like, hey, everything's at your disposal. Do like a very classic 90s, early 2000s first person shooter where whether you've been playing for 10 years or whether you've been playing for 10 days, like you've got the same tools at your disposal. I think going back to that classic route, not making it a level progression system, something you just jump in and jump out, would kind of be useful.
I mean, if they also wanted to really get their hands dirty and go a little bit crazier, like Mag still exists out there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's so many. Even the SOCOM idea, like they could take SOCOM but make it like a first-person shooter or something like that. Like, there's all these licenses. Sony's worried about losing Call of Duty to Xbox. Like, answering with something like that, it won't be as big. I'm not saying
you're not. That's the thing. You do not swing at Call of Duty because you're not gonna knock it down. So you just put your own little sandbox where it's like, hey, we're doing our own little thing. You want to come and do like a, for lack of a better term, like a party style first person shooter where you used to get together with like your friends on a 4-screen split screen and just screw around, and there was no sort of like, oh man, like this person's a level 24 and they've unlocked all these like power-ups and benefits and better weapons, and I've got level 3 weapons. It's just, hey, you all get dropped to this map, whoever gets the weapon first gets it. Like, go nuts.
Yeah, it's kind of like GoldenEye, but instead of GoldenEye it's called like Golden Leg, and you get dropped in. But same idea, yeah, where you just came into the multiplayer, you have some options, you can choose what's going to be there, and it's like imagine something like that, like an old school game. Maybe it's like, I don't know, 28 people or something, like they increase just the number of people that's in there. But yeah, like imagine something that it is just like GoldenEye. You choose what weapons or whatever you're going to hop in, and it's just got maybe more people.
Like a straight up like old school arcade shooter, just with, you know, a modern twist to it.
Yeah. Well, that's like, I think like you got things like Overwatch, like there is a space for competitive shooters, but the problem with like those games is it's all level up and like building those characters, where it's like, I don't want to get into that because there's people who've been playing it for like a while and they have these better characters. I don't want to climb that ladder. I just want something that's like, hey, it's a Tuesday, I can get together with my friends and we can play a game, and if whether I've done it, I've neglected it for 3 months or not, game hasn't changed. It's the exact same.
Yeah.
The other thing I would just love to is for them to take like what they're already been good at for a while, which is sci-fi shooters, and just kind of put that in a much more streamlined for like story. I'd love to see like them try something like, say, let's say it's somewhere in like 2150, where it's like first contact, we're getting invaded sort of deal. Like I would love to see a different take on something like
Destiny?
that. No, because Destiny is like well after that. Like Destiny takes place after a long time after the invasion, and like things have gone on, and there's like all these other races that have kind of virtued out. Like I'd love straight up just one where it's just like, hey, you're just some random Joe Schmoes on Earth at the point where you're just slowly trying to, you know, get yourself to start working into space, and then all of a sudden, the second that you start making any progress, bam, something shows up, and just go from there.
That's how Starfield starts.
I mean, like somebody coming to you.
Not you going to them.
Yeah,
but I do like that.
Either way, I think honestly, we can probably all agree at this point that the best case for Bungie is shutting the fuck up for a little while.
This is gonna blow over. Like, give it 6 months to a year. This will blow over.
Well, and then it'll change when Marathon also pisses people off because they'll realize how much of a scam that probably ends up being for your money
here's
too.
the thing: when you're Bungie now, your next game cannot be mediocre because it'll then be.
Oh, if you're Sony, you've probably got your hands on the throat of Bungie right now, going, you better not fuck up Marathon now.
Well, because if it's not a hit, if it's not successful from the get go, people are going to say, well, yeah, this is a result of the layoffs, and they've decimated themselves too much internally.
Yeah.
So yeah, they need to come out strong in like the next game, and maybe it's a situation where they cancel Marathon. Maybe Marathon just becomes vaporware. Like, because I don't even think we have a date yet for Marathon, do we?
No, like the estimate was going to be next year, but that's like
cool.
Just a guess.
Vaporware, we do not need it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
it's hard to say, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's not an easy decision. I'm sure they're also feeling this over at Bungie. It's sitting in their $2.3 million worth of classic cars, but yeah, I feel like taking a break first, you know, making people miss them, That is key. Like, let it blow over. Think of the amount of layoffs that have happened in this industry in the last couple of years. Like, it's hard to keep track of them. You're not going to remember.
Oh, by the time we get to like 2 weeks from now, somebody else will have taken their place.
Like, Microsoft laid off a bunch of studios and got rid of them entirely.
Yeah, people have already like forgotten Tango Gameworks at this point.
Yeah, and then they just came out with a really good summer showcase, and everyone's like, Microsoft's the best. And it's like, wait, we just forgot about the thing that happened 2 weeks ago? That was well timed. This will blow over. Something else will come up, but it's about laying low for a while.
Yeah, and it's now the follow-up because, like I said, a lot of people that I know, they don't have any confidence in whatever the next thing they're doing is.
No. So they got to let that blow over, come back with something swinging, and then, yeah, make Killzone. I still think that's my favorite. I just want some Killzone, I think.
Well, we could stand here all day and talk about all the things that they should do right. By the way, why don't they just make a JRPG? No, I'm just kidding. But other than that, I mean, what are your thoughts, everybody? You know, you watching this video, obviously, if you haven't already, you should be liking this video too and subscribing to the channel. Like we said, 11 more away from this recording serial podcast. I know you don't think you want that, but really, you actually want that. You'll see. But obviously, let us know your thoughts below in the comments. You know, what do you think about Bungie? Like, are you, you know, is this like the last straw for you at this point? Are you kind of going away from them? What do you think they need to do? Like, give us all your thoughts there. And obviously, you see the link tree there at the bottom right corner. You know what I meant to say. The bottom right corner of your screen. Look, I talk way too fast. My brain can't keep up with that shit. But look, there's that link down there. Go to it. Subscribe to the Discord that we got there. Join that shit. Come and talk with us. And then obviously you'll see where you can get the podcast everywhere else. So make sure you're keeping an eye out for all of that good stuff. So remember, every Fridays you'll see the Sidequests here. Every Wednesday will be the main podcast. And who knows, maybe there's something else in between. I'm not going to say outright if there is because I'm not working on anything right now, but don't worry about that. But alas, you all have a good rest of your day. Thank you so much for checking us out and have yourselves a good one. We'll see you on the next. Bye-bye for now.